cult of patriarchy, this cult is rape culture. Patriarchy is rape in every way, shape, or form. In every way that it can exist, it is rape. Rape culture is give it away for free. You should be giving everything away for free. Well, that's funny, you rapist. You want to extract my wisdom, my skills, my abilities, my education, my level of experience, my training, what it took to become, that I then turn around and offer with zero effing reciprocation to me. So you're willing to rape. Take, you entitled narcissistic. You're a cult member of patriarchy. In business and sales and marketing, what is taught under the cult of patriarchy? Don't take no for an answer. Don't take no, that's rape. What do you mean don't take no for an answer? I told you no. Our food industry and what we do to animals, that's rape culture. Animals are literally raped. They're raped. They're forced impregnation. They are raped. Their quality of life is taken from them. They are violated, they are tortured, they are abused, they are murdered in very horrific ways. That's rape culture. You're in the cult of patriarchy when you come from that.
Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode.
Welcome, beautiful souls and magnificent beings, to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, teacher of Oneness Consciousness and founder and CEO of Masters of Self University. This is our Cult of Patriarchy series, so welcome, welcome. If you are here for the very first time, I love that you are here. This is, I believe, episode 11 out of a full series of 12. So I would strongly encourage you to go back to literal series number 1, episode number 1 of this whole series, and start from the beginning and play catch up before you watch this episode. I will reference a lot of what I've previously taught in the 10 episodes preceding this one, okay? So please go back to episode number 1, start from there, and then make your way up to this one. And for those of you who are watching this from beginning to end, welcome back, and thank you for watching and listening. So let's dive in. The cult of patriarchy. We were born into a global cult. We're all cult members of a global cult until we wake up to it enough to unplug from it, heal ourselves, our traumas, our wounds, our programs, and unplug in every way, shape, and form that we can unplug from that culture. It is a culture that exists in and as severance consciousness. Again, all of this was taught previously, so go back and watch so you're not lost if you haven't seen the other episodes. So when you understand all of that, based on everything I've taught so far in the series, it's easy to understand how the entire patriarchal cult is actually based on rape. So the cult of patriarchy, this cult is rape culture. That is what it is. Patriarchy is rape in every way, shape, or form. In every way that it can exist, it is rape. All right? Now, the blatant, obvious ones, yes, we'll touch on that and we'll talk about it. A lot of people have been waking up a little bit more because of things like the Epstein files, and you're starting to realize these elite, which are cockroach degenerates that rule the damn world and enslave all of the planet, everybody on the planet, all beings on the planet, that those beings, all they do in every way that you can manifest it is rape. So let's understand. Now, you've seen it in those extreme ways. We're talking about sexual rape and things like that. We're going to go through all of it, at least an overview, so that you understand. Like, what does this actually mean? Well, when you live in severance consciousness, you are separate from, disconnected in a negative way, not a divine separation, a divine independence. You and I, we all come from the same source. That goddess, all of everything, in everything, that is feminine energy. That is the goddess creator, the source, the creator of all that is. It all means the same thing. That feminine energy, we all come from that energy. We all come from that frequency. We all come from that original source. We are extensions of her incarnated into this individual, divine, independent, individualized, localized, manifested physical form of her. Okay? So when we understand that is divine independence, that's a divine, you could say, separation. If you understand that, right, then what we are talking about is actual severance consciousness, because that's all the cult of patriarchy that you were born into, brainwashed in, mind control, programmed into. That's all you know, how to exist in the consciousness of severance all the time, not divine independence where we honor everybody's individuality. It's a severance from our own divinity, the divinity which is us, so our true selves, our divinity. When we exist and live as that severance, we have the ignorance of, we lack the knowing, which is the way of wisdom, right? Number 19 out of the 20 universal ways of oneness, number 19 is the way of wisdom. When we lack wisdom and we live in ignorance, we live in brainwashing, mind control, right? We're programmed from this cult from the time we're born in our mother's wombs. We're being programmed. When we live in that level of ignorance, then we see everything and everyone as that negative form of separation, which is severance, because we have been nothing but conditioned and brainwashed to live as severance consciousness, not oneness consciousness. Oneness consciousness comes from this 20 universal ways of oneness consciousness. To get out of patriarchy, we have to become beings of actual oneness consciousness, not spiritual. So you're spiritual doesn't mean you know anything about an elevated level of consciousness. It's becoming that, which means doing the hard work, having the devotion, investing in yourself to become what it takes to become, all right? So in severance consciousness, in the cult of patriarchy, the cult of patriarchy is rape culture. It's a rape cult. It's a rape cult. So let's start with some of the easy ones. How are all beings raped? Well, let's start with money. Let's start with things like taxes. In a world or a community or a state or a country of oneness consciousness, you could have something like similar to taxes, where everybody takes a contribution and that contribution then goes to, you know, what our psychotic cult governments lie to us about. They go to things that everybody in the whole community benefit from. You know, maintaining parks and roadways and different things like that. If our taxes truly went to those things that we all benefit from, why are we not together collectively paying for that? Why should some other, you're in rape culture if you think everything should be given to you for free and taken care of and done for you. You're rape culture. You are in the cult of patriarchy. You're raping and taking from someone else with no reciprocation, no giving back. What are you talking about? You should just have everything for free. That doesn't make sense. Because when people's hard work, life force energy, and their devotion, their labor goes to maintaining something, building something for you, for us, for all of us to benefit from, that's wonderful. Yes, that's an aspect of oneness. How are they compensated for that? Do you understand? Rape cultures, give it away for free. You should be giving everything away for free. Well, that's funny, you rapist. You want to extract my wisdom, my skills, my abilities, my education, my level of experience, my training, what it took to become, that I then turn around and offer with zero effing reciprocation to me. So you're willing to rape. Take, you entitled narcissistic fuck. You're a cult member of patriarchy. How dare you expect people to get, it costs me money to give all this to you for free. Well, you're effing welcome. What are you doing to reciprocate other than just take? Do you understand? That's rape culture. You're in the cult of patriarchy when you come from that. You should just give for free. Oh, okay. Let's dive deeper. You're taxed on things 57 times over. Where does that tax money actually go? Now, I gave a little example. In a community or world or country of oneness, if we had things like, let's call them taxes, just so you know what I'm talking about. If we still had that in a community, it doesn't mean you necessarily would never have that ever again. You might, except that it would go to benefiting all of us. It wouldn't go to billionaires making them richer. Do you understand the difference here? That's the difference. You wouldn't be taxed on property that you purchased and own, except why are you paying property taxes on something you've already paid for and you already own it? Oh, that's right. In rape culture, you don't actually own it. You think you do, because this is a culture, patriarchy is a culture of lies and manipulation and rape. So they're taking. They trick you, pay money, buy this property, buy this house, for example. And then we're going to keep taxing you on what you already paid for. Who does that make sense to? It makes sense to rapists. It makes sense to cockroaches who rule the world, who are raping you in every way. And financial rape is one of the ways that they do it. Okay? They take all of our money and they're building bunkers and a ballroom on the White House. Okay, that we pay for. Okay, who's still paying taxes around here? You're part of the cult of patriarchy. You're still in the cult, supporting the cult financially for them to be able to do this stuff. Who pays for wars? Do you think the billionaires pay for wars? No, they benefit. They gain money. They earn money. They become wealthier from wars. So the terror, the destruction, the suffering, the torture, the murder, they are terrorizing. They are taking our stability, peace, happiness, safety. They are taking that and violating us. That's rape. So they can earn more money because a war makes them wealthier. Do you understand? That's why they orchestrate wars. They're fake crap. They orchestrate them. They do it on purpose, right? So that's an example of rape, and we didn't even get to the sex part yet. That level of violation, right? Think about this. Where else do we see rape culture infused when you come from patriarchy? Well, how about business? How about sales and marketing? Right? I still have door-to-door people coming to my house, physically ringing my doorbell, knocking on my door. I don't know how that's possible in the year 2026. It's very obnoxious. Quit it. But it's often solar companies and like lawn care companies and stuff trying to sell their services, right? So I've had experiences where, think about this, in business and sales and marketing, what is taught under the cult of patriarchy? Don't take no for an answer. Don't take no. That's rape. What do you mean don't take no for an answer? I told you no. So I had a young man, and I wish this was one example. This is only one example of countless examples. I had a young man come to the door trying to sell me something, and I said, no, thank you. I'm good. Not interested in that. And of course, rape culture trained him to get the sale, make the money, get the sale, right? That's rape. Don't take no for an answer. Take, right? So, of course, that's what he was doing. And I told him no again. And then and he just kept pushing it. And it got to the point where I raised my voice and I'm like, get the F off my property. You right now are behaving as a rapist. And he looked at me like, what the, WTF? And I'm like, I said no, get the F off of my property. You need to be able to take no for an answer, especially from a woman. Get the F off my property. I said no how many times to you? shut the F up and get the F off my property, right? And then it's, oh, and here's what we do in rape culture. We blame the victim, we rape them again. Because a lot of people would look at that scenario who are brainwashed by in a cult, of course, a patriarchy. You're nasty, you overreacted. Oh, look how emotional you are. F you, that's not actual truth. That is not the way of truth in any way, shape, or form. I told you no. No, thank you, we're good. I'm not interested in anything you have. Thank you, have a wonderful day. And it was, I'm not going to take no. I'm going to sit here and coerce you and convince you and nag you and nag you and nag you until you say yes. Heterosexual men do this in such degrees to where they wear women down, their wives, their girlfriends, whatever, so they'll finally give in and just have sex. That is coercion, that's sexual coercion, which literal definition of that is rape. Look it up. Everyone functions in rape culture as rape culture. You're a victim of it and you are consenting to it and you do it yourself. You're a victimizer even when you don't realize what you're doing. The dumb and blind, brainwashing, mind control of the cult of patriarchy is so that you lack awareness of what you're doing. You're just brainwashed to show up this way. This is how you get to sale, make money. Okay, that's also how you are trained to be a rapist and not take no for an answer. That is not the same thing as, okay, I know you say no to purchasing this or investing in this. Let's not come from fear, programs, mind control. Let's not come from scarcity consciousness. Let's actually let your soul make the decision to follow your soul's guidance. So just hear me out. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but let's talk through this a little bit. That's teaching. That is not the same thing as I'm not going to take no for an answer. It's let me just show you a different way, and then it's your choice. There's no pressure here. I'm enlightening you to a different way. You actually have a different choice you could make from your soul, the level of your soul. Now let's feel the difference in that, and then let you make the choice in the end. Who cares? I'm not attached to that. Okay? These are things that we teach people at our metaphysical university as students, Masters of Self University. This is what we teach you to work on the level of energetics always. So you're not in your mind just, well, when am I being in rape culture and forcing and when am I not? F your mind, get out of your mind. Feel the energy of what it feels like when somebody won't take no for an answer. Even though you're coming out and telling them, no, enough, stop, I'm not going to do that. No, this isn't for me. I'm not spending money on that or whatever it might be. Okay? That's all rape culture, and it is infused into everything, everything that we do, right? So, I mentioned women's labor. Writing too fast. Built into patriarchy. That women are oppressed slaves and they're here to serve and be subservient. They're nothing but slaves. They're nothing but objects. That's rape culture. When we say things like to women, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom. F you, rape culture. What do you mean stay at home? Because you're lounging with your feet up all day. What are you talking about? You work from home. You actually work from home. So you're going grocery shopping. You're planning on what you need for the grocery list and what's missing in the house, the paper towels and the toilet paper that you have to replenish. And you have to go out and shop and do that when you're not with your kids, when they're in school, or when you're with your kids and plan it all out. You have to buy the food, do the grocery shopping, plan the meals, all this mental workload, and then cook the meals. And then you have to scrub the toilets and clean the house, which is a mess all the time, especially when you have kids. What are you talking about, stay at home? That's free labor. Women should get paid for that. And they should get paid by their partners, their spouses, for doing all of that labor. They are working their asses off. Any stay-at-home mom, so somebody who stays at home, manages and maintains a household, cleans it, scrubs your shit out of the toilet when you drop your feces in the toilet and leave skid marks? Who's scrubbing that out? Are you? I mean, it should be you, because that's the way of responsibility. You're a disgusting toddler when you don't turn around and clean up your own shit. But when you have a scenario, traditional heterosexual couples where women are slaves, they're slaving away, cooking and cleaning and preparing and washing the sheets and changing the linens and doing the laundry and folding the laundry and putting the laundry away, and then they're cleaning up after a meal. They're doing all of this labor, and you act like they have a free effing ticket in paradise, like they're on vacation 24/7. Fuck you! What have we bought into in our level of ignorance and stupidity? Oh, that's right, we've turned into rapists and you don't even realize it. So take all the labor of women and continue to rape them in every way possible, and then act like they're gold diggers. That doesn't even make any sense. If I'm managing and doing all of this stuff, I should get paid for that. If I go to other people's homes and I clean their homes, that's a profession. They pay me to do that, and they pay good money to do that. So listen, women, we're going to get to this in our final episode of this series. But if you are heterosexual, I'm sorry. First of all, let me just say that, because in a patriarchal cult, that's awful, to be perfectly honest. But if you are heterosexual, or in any couple, same sex, this goes with you too. If you are a stay-at-home or work from home and you're raising children, especially if you have family, listen, animals, dogs, that counts. Are you going on the hikes, doing the exercising, making sure they get the stimulation they need and taking care? Are you doing all of those things plus other things and maintaining a home? You're working from home. If you are doing the labor, that's work. Your spouse or partner should be paying you a salary. And if you are, quite frankly, until we elevate out of patriarchy, if you're dumb enough to have children, I didn't stutter, I said that on purpose. If you're dumb enough to the way things are today, if you're still brainwashed to have children with a man, then you're going to learn some hard lessons, first of all. But second, while we're still in a patriarchal world. But secondly, you better have a contractual signed legal agreement of what he's paying you that goes directly into your bank account for all the labor, if you're the one that stays home and does most of the labor at home. And if he works outside of that home, that does not ever mean he's an irresponsible child who gets to come home after work and not raise his own children. Working from home, if you have children, is equivalent to working 2 full-time jobs outside of the home. Statistically, we know this. This has been proven. So you need to get paid for that. Your second job, if you work outside of the home, begins when you get home. You don't not clean up after yourself because you have a slave. Your spouse isn't your effing slave. You don't make extra work. There's already a ton of work to take care of a house. That's if you live alone. You both have to have two jobs. It's just one of yours who works from home is the main caregiver of the house and the beings that also live in the house. It doesn't mean you get to be a lazy, obnoxious, entitled, narcissistic child who your slave cleans up after and you do nothing. You're an entitled piece of crap. Oh, that's right. You might not have billions, but you're the degenerate cockroach elites. That is how you're behaving. You're raping her and taking from her. Oh, because rape culture is the cult of patriarchy. Rape culture is a patriarchal cult. It's all a cult. Right? That's what we need to put an end to. And if you happen to be a work from home dad, you're raising children. It's very rare, but that's We're changing things. They exist. Same thing goes for you. Your wife or your partner shouldn't come home and be a lazy, pathetic baby who leaves their crap everywhere and expects you to pick up after them. What are you talking? Pick up after yourself. That makes everybody that lives with you easier to live with you because you're not a disgusting, entitled slob. You should be cleaning up after yourself all the time. It's easier to maintain a home that way for everybody that lives in it. Nobody else should have to live in your effing mess. Stop being disgusting, selfish slob. You're an immature toddler emotionally when you behave that way. That's what we need to change. And yet rape culture, because it's so deep in our conditioning, we don't think of those things. We're just selfish, selfish, selfish. If you live by yourself and you want to leave a mess and be a slob, go for it. You do whatever you want. If you live with another person, how dare you force them to live in your nasty mess? You're disgusting. The way of responsibility. Okay, all of the ways of oneness. Selfless service is, I don't make you live in my mess. I'm the way of selfless service, which means I will clean up after myself so you don't have to, but also so you don't have to live with the mess. If you have roommates and maybe your bedroom or your bathroom, that it's just yours, is messy, you leave that a mess because you're cleaning up everywhere else. That's different. You want to leave a mess and be too tired to clean up after yourself sometimes? Okay, that's normal. No big deal. Do it in your own private space. You don't leave that mess for the community. Whether it's a literal community, think about what you see people when you go to the gym. You know, just the gym is a good example. If you go to a public gym, it is infuriating when people use weights, do whatever, and leave their crap for someone else to clean up after them. What in the world are we doing? Do you understand? Comprehend what I'm teaching to you. That is an aspect of rape culture. I'm going to take, I'm going to use, and then instead of cleaning up after myself, I'm going to let someone else come clean up after me. And then I'm going to pretend in my own distorted, effed up, selfish, entitled mind, well, they're paid to work here, it's their job. That isn't their job. That's not their job. Cleaning up your mess is not their job. Cleaning up dust and germs and things and sanitizing things, that's the job of somebody who cleans. They're not to pick up your damn weights because you're a pathetic loser who refuses to put them away. Lazy, pathetic loser. I'm not lazy, I'm at the gym. You're a lazy, pathetic loser. And that all stems from being in rape culture, right? Talk about traditional holidays. How many of you in a patriarchal world have grown up with holidays and family gatherings, and as soon as everyone eats, who cooked all day long? Usually the women. And then everybody eats. Who goes and sits their asses down on the couch and watches TV, football, whatever happens to be on? And then all the women are also cleaning up after everyone. No. I was in relationships in the past where this kind of crap was going on. And then the expectation, of course, because I'm a woman, is to get up and help clean. I'm not cleaning up after all these effing men who are raping the energy and the labor from all the women in the house. So guess what? There was a point in time where I was like, if you women want to continue the oppression of yourselves, you go right ahead. And I took my butt and I sat in the living room. All men, all the family members in the living room, one woman. And I sat my butt down, and then the person I was in a relationship at the time was like all uncomfortable, looking around. He couldn't handle it. What are you doing? It's going to look bad on me. Oh, my partner's not helping. You're not either, asshole. What are you doing? You effing rapist. What are you doing? Why are you sitting in here instead of helping all the women in your family? I don't see what you're doing. And I literally said in those times, Rachel, Yeah? I mean, you want to maybe help? I go, oh, do all the men in the room want to maybe go help clean up after themselves and not leave it to just the women? As soon as I see men getting up and doing the labor in that kitchen, I'm happy to get up and help. Until then, I will not contribute to the oppression and slavery of women. His ass got up real quick. And then guess what? The younger generation of men, they got very uncomfortable. They all got up and they all went and they started helping. I went, oh, great, we can work in unity now. And I got up and I started to help. I'm never here to take advantage of other people. I am here to teach you and be a sacred mirror what the F you're actually doing. Let's be more loving and function in oneness, the way of goddamn responsibility and selfless service and integrity, and the way of equality. Like, let's knock this crap off already. All of that is an example of people growing up in rape culture. They are very happy to let anybody else do all the crap while they sit around and do nothing. And the flip side of that, which you see, when we live in this duality consciousness, severance consciousness, patriarchal cult, people think they're so spiritual. And then they sit there and say to people, well, you should give all your services away for free. Says who, rapist? The rapist over there telling me in my comments. The rapist over there saying what I should do to give everything away for free. You don't think you should reciprocate and give back to somebody that is helping you? I don't care if you're buying a product. I don't care if it's a service. I don't care who's giving away what. But you think you deserve to have everything for free. You're a taker, which means you're a rapist. You are contributing to rape culture. So how do you contribute to rape culture is the question. This is what waking up for real is. And then healing that, seeing it for what it is, as the way of truth, we have to see with our divine sight. So how do I contribute to being a rapist, rape culture? So when all you do is take and you don't care what other people take and harm, you're contributing to rape culture, okay? Our food industry and what we do to animals, that's rape culture. Animals are literally raped. They're raped. They're forced impregnation. They are raped. Their quality of life is taken from them. They are violated. They are tortured. They are abused. They are murdered in very horrific ways. That's rape culture. And then all for what? Also that you can eat them and have cheese on your plate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's rape culture. You're contributing to rape culture when you don't care that the dignity, the safety, the care of an animal, their ability and deservedness and right to live freely in a loving, wonderful world that represents harmlessness and gentleness. If it's harmlessness and gentleness, it also represents the way of compassion. If it's compassion, that means it also represents the way of connection. Connection to these animals, connection to life itself, to love, the way of unconditional love. That existence, if we actually choose to become beings of oneness consciousness, that's how we put an end to rape culture, which is putting an end to the cult of patriarchy we were born into. Treating any being like they are objects. Look at what we do to women and children, but women, especially. Objectification, dehumanizing them. Same thing with animals. They're nothing but objects for us to take from, for us to use, for us to abuse, for our pleasure. A woman is here for my pleasure. No, she's not. That's rape culture. Okay, not taking no for an answer and understanding consent was implied, all this crap that comes out. No, it's all rape culture. You're raping. Why do we do that? Other than the simple answer, which you should know by now by episode 11, is because you were born into a cult severed off from divinity herself, which means you function in less than divine ways. That's the brainwashing to make sure you do that. That's the programming to make sure you do that. But also, when we look at every universal way of oneness and we get to the way of honoring, which is number 11 out of 20 of the ways, there is no honoring of other beings on this planet, of one another. We don't even know what that means. It's not a word. This is a vibrational frequency. This is a state of consciousness to function as the way of honoring. And if you have any of these programs in your everyday life or relationships or your business or your organization or your marriage or with your children or family members, your friends, whatever, if you lack that, you are coming from this in some way. If you are the way of honoring, you can't come from this. It's impossible. Those two frequencies don't go together. They don't match. Do you understand? So if we evolve and become the way of honoring, and I am honoring the health of other beings on this planet, the wellness of other beings on this planet, and I'm showing compassion and harmlessness and gentleness and equality, and I eventually can evolve into the enlightened frequency of honoring. If I can live like that, torture and rape and violence ceases to exist. And all the beings that stand for that die off. They cannot at a frequency level live when enough of us are these higher enlightened frequencies, because we're willing to do the hard work to see our programming, unplug from our programming, alchemize those programs, never again demonstrate those programs, because we're elevated at a higher level of consciousness. So it isn't a matter of just, oops, I made a mistake. No, that's impossible for me to do. Literally impossible. Because I function at a higher level of consciousness. This doesn't exist in my frequencies and my beingness anymore. That's the becoming. And that's the hard work, that we have to descend into our darkness first before you actually ascend authentically for real. Okay, that's the process of becoming. That's true authentic awakening. That takes work and effort, because there is a tremendous amount of work and effort to get you to function like this and to accept it and to consent to it and to keep paying people to torture and abuse. When you pay your taxes, you are paying pedophile rapists, serial rapists who rape and torture women, rape and torture babies and children, eat them, murder them. You're paying their salary. And you're living in, oh, I'm afraid to pay my taxes. Oh, I'm afraid of the contact. You're contributing to rape culture. You're literally financially paying for it. This is waking up for real. Stop paying for it. Stop paying for it. Just stop paying. Quit paying the rapists, the cult leaders of the world. Quit paying them money. Quit consenting to rape by objectifying animals, by objectifying other humans, by objectifying and dehumanizing women, that they are objects. Stop lusting. Get your porn addiction out of here. Stop using women for sex and expecting that that's what they owe you for some reason, married, in a relationship or not. They're not objects. That is rape culture. That they're just here for your pleasure, that their body parts are your toys and playthings. That is rape culture. They are divine. Women are divine, powerful beings, and they are closer to the goddess than anybody on this planet, literally. Because they are the only one that can take two souls in their body at one time. They are the only ones powerful enough to do that, to grow a human life, give birth to it. The power of woman is the power of woman. Men don't have that power, never have, never will. And that doesn't mean that that is somehow not equal. It's different. But if you think, well, then men are inferior. Listen, stupid, you lack the way of wisdom. You don't come anywhere near functioning as the way of equality yourself if what you immediately go to when you can't, the way of honoring, honor a woman and what her power is on this planet. You can't honor that because you're not the way of equality when you immediately feel triggered and insecure and inferior because you can't honor someone else's power. That level of jealousy is pathetic and disgusting, and that level of jealousy is what patriarchy is filled with. Because you feel insecure and pathetic about yourselves. You can't honor another person, another being. So they make you feel so insecure, you need to rape them, own them, oppress them, dominate them, objectify them, dehumanize them, so that you can somehow avoid feeling your inferiority that is all made up nonsense because you're an unconscious, unawakened being. Let's wake up for real. It's time. It's time to wake up for real. So rape culture goes on in absolutely everything that we do. The cult of patriarchy is a complete inversion of how we are meant to live. And you learned this in the first several episodes. But it has inverted everything. When we live in a matriarch, a world of oneness consciousness, because that's what a matriarch is made of, violating violence and violating, raping in whatever ways, all the way ceases to exist. It's just honoring. Oh, I'll help you. Oh, let me contribute. Yep, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Of course I'm going to pay you for this. Are you kidding me? Look at the services you're giving me. Look at the product. Look at the, of course. And it's all done fairly with an appropriate value of what you're paying for. There are differences there, but there's value in everything. Do you understand? So you learn that only by actually elevating into the ways of oneness, especially the way of honoring, selfless service, etc., till we get to integrity and eventually wisdom enough to know the difference among all of these things. So we have work to do. So I invite you now, like, subscribe, share with everybody you know. Go to mastersofselfuniversity.com. Check into our metaphysical university and see what kind of classes and coursework you can take by becoming a student, as well as go take everything that we have that we lovingly in the way of selfless service give away for free. Start there so that you can learn and start becoming, because the more you elevate and get out of this, the more you start to contribute and fuel vibrationally the frequencies of this. And that takes your work, your effort, your energy, the way of loyalty, your devotion to it. You need to invest in your becoming to unplug from this in every aspect that exists and start to contribute to creating this. You can't contribute to that if you haven't become it yourself first. That's the key. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in our next and last episode of the Cult of Patriarchy series. Bye for now.